This is Red Wings Live. It's presented by Arby's. Try the new Montreal Angus and Portobello sandwich today. Welcome to Red Wings Live on a Tuesday. It's Darren Elliott taking part in our work release program. He's out of the studio and in Columbus tonight. John Keating with Chris Osgood. Their best game of the year was followed by one that clearly wasn't. So good feelings vanished faster than Vin Diesel. Getting it back right away is very important for this Red Wings team, even though we're early in the season. Yeah, hands down their best game against the Chicago Blackhawks. All around, they had a fabulous outing. Great defensively, great in the neutral zone, took away time and space from the Blackhawks, and obviously very good offensively as well. Then they go against the Montreal. Really the exact opposite thing. Looked slow, didn't look quick. Had some bad line changes, and just then that turned into some bad bounces, and that's what happens when you're not ready to play. All right, let's take a moment here and reflect back on what went particularly well against the Blackhawks, because the Wings are sort of hugging that right now as they try to find their A game. Well, they did everything right against the Blackhawks, and they looked very, very good all night long, but they're quick, they're positionally sound. Glenn Denning here in the neutral zone, getting himself in the lane. Blackhawk player trying to make this pass. Glenn Denning takes patience, but they're quick too all night long. Watch Anderson get on his horse, get skating, get moving, creates a chance. Glenn Denning drives the net, just like the coaching staff teaches them. And Anderson does what he's taught to do, shoots the puck and driving for the rebound on the side and burying it for a goal here. The Red Wings textbook play, but they did this all night long, not only in the offensive zone, but in the defensive zone. By far their best game of the season. Okay, so just 48 hours later, they're on the ice against Montreal, and it didn't look to be the same Red Wings team. Yeah, and then this started from a bad line change in the Red Wings zone. They're not on. They don't do little things very good, and this is exactly what happened against the Montreal Canadiens. Brendan Smith here not really taking anybody here on this 2-on-1, and Jimmy Howard letting that puck slip through there. But the Red Wings just were not sharp against the Montreal Canadiens, and especially after a game against Chicago, you want to keep that rolling. So tonight makes this game that much more important. All right, well, because of that, the Wings were mad. I mean, they were Nancy Grace mad. But a day later and a few chants of home, the Wings know you can't fix the past. You can determine the future. They have to channel their inner Friday when things went so well, but they had Pavel Datsyuk that night. They won't have him tonight. And with more on that, Trevor Thompson joins us tonight from Columbus. T.
Yeah, John, their last two games have certainly been a tale of two different games. That 4-1 win against Chicago Friday night unanimously decided as one of the team's best of the year. Not so much a couple of days later when they lost 4-1 at home to the Habs on Sunday evening. The question is, how does Mike Babcock get his team to play more like the one we saw on Friday as opposed to the one we saw on Sunday?
Just get prepared and execute early, get started on time, and go from there. But anybody who's been covering sport, and I think you have for a while, is it's imperfect and it's played by people. And as much as you'd like it to go the right way and you're prepared to go the right way, sometimes it doesn't go your way. And 2 games ago we liked our team, and last game we didn't like our team. So we got to figure out what team we are.
Just try to forget the last game and play like the other team, I guess. But just little things. We're, you know, it might look that big a difference, but it's not. It's the smallest little details that make a pretty big difference in a, you know, 4-1 win or a 4-1 loss. So just try to do the little things, and we should be okay.
You know, we've done a lot of good things to this point, but we've had some games where we've, you know, maybe got away from our structure and the way we're, you know, we're capable of playing. So, you know, we're still obviously staying positive in here, and it's nice that we don't have to wait too long to get back at it.
And one of the biggest keys for the Wings tonight will have contributions. We'll be having contributions from everybody in the lineup like they did on Friday night, and they're going to need that tonight because in their last 6 games here at Nationwide Arena, they've only won once. In fact, the Blue Jackets have taken 7 of the last 9 contests against the Wings head-to-head, so they certainly got their work cut out for them here tonight in this one. John, back to you for now.
All right, Trev, right back to you in just a second. In fact, overall, the Wings have alternated wins and losses in each of their last 5 games, having gone 2-1-2. So somebody nudge Bonnie Tyler here. The Wings need a hero. If someone stands out tonight, rest assured they'll be singled out as the McDonald's player of tonight's game. The process presented by the new McCafe Fresh Baked Blueberry Muffin with great fanfare. We'll reveal that player's name later tonight on Red Wings Live. The Blue Jackets miss being in the same division with the Wings. Detroit's fans help fill that place 3 times a year. Tonight is the Wings' only visit to a place that this season is known as hockey's hospital ward. They're taking turns being hurt. More on that next. Well, the saving grace is that he knows the drill. Jordan Leopold was acquired by the injury-ravaged Jackets on Saturday. It's the 7th time in his career he's been traded. And talk about a full day. He ran a 5K with 2 of his kids on Saturday morning, went to the Blues morning skate, learned he'd been traded, flew to Columbus, and played 17 minutes in the Columbus win over San Jose. He's playing now for Todd Richards, who is #1 all-time in points by a defenseman at the University of Minnesota. Leopold just happens to be 3rd on that list. But you'll understand why Richards is aging. And I'm not sure it's the presidential look what the office has done to him aging vortex. But the Blue Jackets are having the same luck with injuries that the Red Wings endured last year, which is to say lousy luck or no luck. Trev's back from Columbus with more on their story. T?
Yeah, John, it's been a bit of a mash scene on the Columbus side of things. Coming into tonight's game, 118 man games lost to injury already this season. That has been one of the reasons they had a 9-game losing streak, which they recently snapped, and come into this one winners of their last 2 in a row. But all those injuries and all those losses soured some of the optimism coming into this season on a team that had the best season in franchise history as last season wound up.
There's lots of excitement in this city for hockey and support of the Blue Jackets. We got great fans here. Been waiting a long time for what we got last season, and I think that just makes it more disappointing where we're at right now and all the things that we've gone through. It's been a struggle, but what I like is we got guys in the room that care, and nobody's happy where we're at, and we're trying to get better each and every day. And we've taken steps in the right direction, and tonight's another opportunity to get better.
With all the injuries and stuff, it was just a big setback, and you know, but it is what it is, and I feel like we've played our best 2 games, our last 2, and are starting to get back to the hockey that we want to play, and it's just good to see, and we're starting to get bodies back, and a couple more guys tonight, which is important, and you know, obviously Bobrovsky back with our last game, we played tremendous for us, and so we'll just try and keep building right now, game by game.
And the Blue Jackets come into tonight's game with a 6-10-1 record, the exact same record they had at this point in the season last year, where they went on to win 43 games. So they know they can recover, but Nick Foligno told me that's a big hole to dig yourself out of. It takes a lot of mental and physical toughness. We'll see what they're made of starting here tonight as they try to make it 3 wins in a row going up against the Wings. John, back to you for now.
Trev, I can't let this go. Was Ken Daniels photo-bombing Todd Richards there, standing behind him, knowing that he was going to be on camera? Does he need more FaceTime?
He's a photo bomb expert. You know that guy will pop up anywhere. It's like, where's Waldo? Oh, there he is.
All right, Trev, thanks. Back to you shortly. The Wings are averaging 2.6 goals per game as a team. You can see the need now for one player to perhaps score 3 goals in a game tonight. If there's a hat trick, you can bring a copy of the scoring summary to any Armies tomorrow for a free small order of curly fries. Dominik Hasek had 13 starts against the Blue Jackets in his career and was 9-3 in the other one he didn't finish. 9 of his 389 wins, which helped him into the Hall of Fame last night. Ozzy was there. You'll hear from Dom on his time in Detroit and Ozzy's reflections of their time together next. Red Wings Live on Fox Sports Detroit is brought to you by your local Toyota dealers. Visit buyatoyota.com. Toyota, let's go places. And by Motor City Casino Hotel, a million miles away, right down the street. The number 39 worn by Dominik Hasek in 4 seasons with the Red Wings. You may not remember that Johan Franzen wore 39 for a time before flipping it to 93 upon Hasek's arrival in Hockeytown. It's the night of year when hockey royalty gathers. Dominik Hasek within a glittering class of inductees into the Hockey Hall of Fame last night. It was Dom and Mike Modano and Rob Blake and Peter Forsberg and referee Bill McCreary and posthumously Coach Pat Burns. Hasek was presented by his former Wings teammate Chris Chelios. Together, they won a couple of cups here. It was Hasek who led them to the title in 2002 after requesting that trade from Buffalo.
Although I had wonderful years in Buffalo, the opportunity Mr. Illich and Ken Holland gave me in Detroit was wonderful in a very different way. They gave me the opportunity to play with more great players on one team than most players ever play with. It was something special to play with Steve Yzerman, one of the greatest captains to have ever played hockey. And how many goaltenders get support of players who have won 10 Norris trophies like Chelly and Nick did? I have not mentioned them all, but the players I play with in Detroit taught me a lot. Not only were there great leaders to play with, they were all great people to be with.
Chris Osgood was there last night for Dominik Hasek's induction into the Hall of Fame, and your relationship is special, isn't it?
Yeah, it was very good with Dominik Hasek. We met at the perfect time in our career. We're both older goalies, and our #1 goal was strictly just to win another cup because we never knew how many more chances we were going to get. But Dom, we got along great on and off the ice, and probably my favorite partner that I've ever had. He's great. He made me better because he worked so darn hard in practice every day to stop every puck, and I had no choice but to even get close to him was impossible.
You won 401 regular season games, another 74 in the playoffs, so you're included in this conversation, and it's our Miller Lite breakdown, but Hasek has to be considered one of the top goalies of your generation.
Yeah, my generation, Dominik Hasek, to me, is the best goalie. Not only because of his talent, but because of his work ethic and his relentless pursuit of perfection. Even if he wasn't good at something, he made sure he was. And yeah, he had a unique way of stopping the puck. But he's a very intelligent person, a very intelligent player. And to me, he saw the ice as a goalie, as Wayne Gretzky would say the ice as a player. There's very few of him to ever come along. And when you put all that together, that's why he's in the Hall of Fame, and to me was one of the best ever.
And your generation included some standout goalies. You were one of them, but so was our old friend Patrick Waugh.
Oh yeah, he's loved around Detroit, isn't he? But he was a great goalie for sure. And he battled. He went to Colorado and really put that team. They had a lot of great young players, but we're always searching for that goalie. When they got Patrick Waugh, obviously that put their team to the next level. And this guy, to me, as talented as Dominik Hasek, played differently, but a big-time goalie as well, and loved the big-time moments.
Somewhere in North America, Martin Brodeur is still knocking around, hoping for the phone to ring, hoping he gets another chance to be a goalie to the degree that he was for so long with the New Jersey Devils.
Yeah, and Marty was different. He doesn't see as many shots as Dominik Hasek would or Patrick Waugh would, but he's the rock back there, and he's a perfect goalie for the perfect time for New Jersey Devils, and he made big save after big save. But like Patrick Waugh, this guy always played great in the big game. Very few times he wouldn't. Won Stanley Cups, and he was just he's the face of New Jersey Devils, just as Patrick Waugh is Colorado.
All right, well, we're lucky to have a great goaltender of our past with us here in the Fox Sports Detroit studios. The thing with Dominik Hasek, though, was that he never want to give up a goal, as Ozzy mentioned. Not in Game 7 of the Cup Finals, not in a gold medal game at the Winter Olympics, not in a practice on a Tuesday. After witnessing so many saves, Keith Gage says with a game on the line, he'd take Hasek every time. For his column on the Dominator and more Wings coverage, go to foxsportsdetroit.com. But the world turns, and there's a new crop of goalies stopping pucks or trying to. Columbus gets theirs back off the shelf just in time for the Wings. We'll talk to the guy known as Bob and whether he's the one goalie a team can't replace when we continue with this coach. Red Wings Live on Fox Sports Detroit, brought to you by ZotAuto.com, home of Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, Ram, Ford, Toyota, and Scion. And by Flagstar Bank, a proud and official partner of the Detroit Red Wings. A look at the future. Home of the Wings in the area known as the District received a jolt of good news this week with the revelation that once the building is open, not long thereafter, it will host a piece of the NCAA basketball tournament. In March of 2018, second and third round games will be staged in Detroit's new arena. Wings and Blue Jackets coming up here on Fox Sports Detroit. The goalie Detroit will face tonight is playing with a splint on a broken finger, but Sergei Bobrovsky has also dealt in broken hearts. His save percentage in 3 games against Detroit last year was .951. He was 4-4 when he was injured, and a big reason why the Blue Jackets' losing streak dragged on. They lost consecutively 9 times, Mrs. Bueller. You have to have a solid goalie in this league, and the Jackets do, and Bob.
Yeah, for sure, to get this guy back. He is the cornerstone of the franchise. for the Columbus Blue Jackets, and he's been great all since he's been back from injury. Played great last game. This guy's been good against Detroit every time he's played. His numbers are 5-4 with a 917 save percentage, and I don't even want to mention the other two goalie stats because they're not worth mentioning. They're that bad. But without this guy, where would this team be? He's the guy, he gets a lot of shots here in Columbus, and without him, you can really tell the confidence of their team isn't even close to what it is when they have him back there in net. And every time, like I said before, this guy for some reason loves playing against Detroit, and they're going to have to get guys in front of his eyes tonight and get traffic on him and be hard on him.
All right, well, let's take a peek at some others in our look around the league, brought to you by Xfinity. The guy the Wings know well is Pregame, who is so big, and the Predators lean on him mightily.
Yeah, we're talking about guys here that teams could not do without. Pregame here, this guy's a rock for Nashville Predators. He missed 51 games last season, and the Predators really struggled. 6 games over 500, which was a miracle without him. But this guy, when he's in, Nashville Predators in first place this year, playing very, very well. Peter Laviolette's the coach. He's more offensive than Barry Trotz was, and why not? When you have this guy in net, you may as well go for it. Sure. He's going to stop it more times than he isn't.
The Wings just saw Henrik Lundqvist when we played at Madison Square Garden a couple of weeks ago, and he led his team to an overtime win that night.
That was the reason they call him the King. They love him in New York, but when he's in the net, he gives them a chance to win every night. Sees a lot of shots behind a Rangers team that was just growing the last couple seasons. Made the final last year, yes, but he was the #1 reason why they went that far. He sees many shots, many good opportunities, and on most nights, he gives this team a chance to win.
All right, it's Jimmy Howard for the Wings against Sergei Bobrovsky. Wings and Blue Jackets coming up, and with word that Pavel Datsyuk is not in Columbus tonight, those in Columbus will have to step up, and Gustav Nyquist will get a little more responsibility from his team and attention from the other guys. He'll talk of that next with us as we continue on a Tuesday evening. Red Wings Live is brought to you by your Detroit area Honda dealers. Visit your Detroit area Honda dealers today by going to DetroitHondaDealers.com. It was this long ago. It was a Damian Brunner ago. The Wings haven't won in Columbus since January of 2013, and on that night, it was Brunner who scored the only goal of a shootout against Sergei Bobrovsky. Detroit has lost their last 4 at Nationwide Arena. They're just 2-5-1 in their last 8 against the Jackets in a series they once dominated like no other. Well, goal scoring in the NHL is like calculus and figuring out what your spouse wants. It's hard. Gustav Nyquist is on pace for a 40-goal season, but he's been held off the score sheet in each of the last 2. He's with Trev on the ice in Columbus. T.
John, thank you very much. No Pavel Datsyuk in the lineup tonight, but Danny Cleary is back in, and Mike Babcock says he does make a difference. Gus, what kind of a difference does it make when Danny Cleary, the veteran, is in your lineup?
Yeah, he brings a lot of experience. You know, he sticks to the system. You know, he doesn't make many mistakes out there, and creates a lot of energy for us. So it's great to have him back.
Tough game against the Columbus team that has won 5 of their last 6 against you guys in this building. What makes them so tough to play against, especially at home?
Well, they're a tough team. I mean, they come out hard on the forecheck. They get on their D. They got some big bodies that like to forecheck hard, and we got to be ready to break out fast out of our own zone tonight.
Your team is 5-1-1 when you score the first goal, 3-3-3 when the opposition scores the first goal. How key is that for your team, especially in their building tonight?
Well, I guess we got to score the first goal tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. How much would you like that to be you?
Yeah, no, that'd be great, obviously. It doesn't matter who scores. We want to get that first. We want to come out with a good start here and start the road trip off on a good way.
All right, thanks, Gus. Good luck tonight.
Thank you.
There goes Gustav Nyquist. He has had just 2 points in his last 7 games, looking to capitalize here tonight. John, back to you.
Well, you can tell it's getting loud there at Nationwide Arena because Gus and Trevor were about this far apart so they could hear each other speak. Well, one of the trends for the Red Wings last year was that Kyle Quincy and Drew Miller played in every game the Wings played. Quincy's streak ended this season when he missed a couple of games. Drew Miller just motors on.
Yeah, he does. This is his 100th straight game tonight. He's played very well, especially of late. He hasn't got on the points. He hasn't been scoring as much as he would like. Getting pucks to the net, though, this guy has been a cornerstone for the Red Wings on the 4th line, and is one of the reasons why the penalty kill has been so good this season. And Shane's been great this year as well. 6 points. He would like some more points, obviously. 6, but he's learned how to use that big body. This guy's going to be a very good power forward one day. And Luke Glendening, who centers that 4th line. Goal and assist against the Chicago Blackhawks, probably his best game of the year. Blocking shots, really positionally sound all night long. Great game by him. Hartnell, who came over from Philly. This guy's a heart and soul player. Brings some sandpaper to Columbus. Has a lot of points this year. He's had a good year so far for Columbus, but another minus player for the Blue Jackets. He'd like to be playing better. And Johansson as well. This is their leading scorer with 20 points. This guy's a minus player as well. You go through the Columbus lineup, a lot of guys aren't very good defensively, so maybe the Red Wings can take advantage of that tonight.
All right, Jack Johnson, another guy who's just back from suspension, back in the Blue Jackets lineup. It's Darren Elliott on the road tonight. He's with Ken Daniels. They're next.